He built an empire of billions, but he couldn't buy the one thing that mattered, the truth. So Arthur Sterling decided to burn his life to the ground. He faked his own bankruptcy to see if his wife loved the man or the money. He expected her to struggle. He expected her to cry. But he never expected this. The penthouse was silent, but it was a loud kind of silence. It was the silence of a vault, airtight and cold. Arthur Sterling stood by the floor-to-ceiling glass of his Manhattan sanctuary, looking down at the city he had conquered. He was 42 years old. He was worth $3 billion, and he was the loneliest man in New York. Behind him, the clinking of porcelain broke the stillness. Elena sat at the dining table, a slab of imported Italian marble that cost more than most people's college tuition. She was typing furiously on her phone, the blue light illuminating a face that had graced the covers of Vogue and Harper's Bazaar. She was perfect, sculpted, and utterly hollow. "Arthur," she said, her voice flat, not looking up from the screen. "The transfer for the charity gala hasn't gone through. My stylist is waiting." Arthur turned. He looked at her. He tried to find the woman he had met 5 years ago in that coffee shop in Brooklyn. The woman with paint on her jeans and a spark in her eyes. But that woman was gone. She had been replaced by this creature of diamonds and demands. "It's pending approval, Elena," Arthur said quietly. "It's $100,000. And," she finally looked up, her eyes narrowing. "It's for the children, Arthur. Don't be stingy. It doesn't suit you." She didn't care about the children. She cared about the photo op. She cared about the caption on Instagram. Arthur felt a familiar ache in his chest. It wasn't a heart attack. It was the crushing weight of suspicion. For months, he had felt it growing. The way she pulled away when he touched her. The way her eyes lit up only when he handed her a black credit card. The way she talked about his net worth at parties as if it were her own personal high score. He needed to know. The doubt was a cancer eating him alive. Did she love him? The man who grew up in foster care? The man who built code in a basement until his fingers bled? Or did she only love the lifestyle he provided? That night, while Elena slept in her separate wing of the penthouse, Arthur made a call. "It's time," he whispered into the encrypted phone. "Execute Operation Zero." On the other end of the line, his lawyer, a man paid to bury secrets, hesitated. "Are you sure, Arthur? Once we pull the trigger on this, the media will feast on you. The stock will take a hit. Your reputation." "Burn it," Arthur said, staring at his reflection in the dark window. "Burn it all down. I need to see who stays when the ashes settle." The fall was choreographed with the precision of a ballet. 2 days later, Arthur sat in the living room, his head in his hands. He had instructed his team to freeze everything. Every account, every card, every asset. To the outside world, Arthur Sterling was under federal investigation for massive fraud. Ponzi scheme, a lie. The elevator doors slid open. Elena walked in, carrying bags from Hermes and Gucci. She stopped when she saw the 2 men in cheap suits standing by the fireplace. They were actors hired by Arthur, posing as federal agents. "Ma'am, step away from the bags," one of the agents barked. Elena dropped the shopping bags. "Who are you?" "Arthur, what is this?" Arthur looked up. He had spent an hour in the bathroom practicing this look. The look of a defeated man. "It's over, Elena." The DOJ. They froze it all. They say the algorithm was illegal. Froze? What? Elena's voice trembled. Not with fear for him, but with panic for herself. "Everything," Arthur choked out. "The house, the cars, the accounts. We have 24 hours to vacate the premises." Elena laughed. It was a shrill, hysterical sound. "This is a joke. You're Arthur Sterling. You don't get evicted." "It's not a joke," Arthur shouted, standing up and knocking over a vase. "I'm ruined, Elena. I'm facing prison time if I don't cooperate. They're taking everything." The silence that followed was heavy. Arthur held his breath. This was the moment. This was where she would rush to him. She would hold him. She would say, "We will fight this. I don't care about the money. Elena stared at him. Her eyes darted to the agents, then to the bags on the floor. Her face twisted into a mask of pure disgust. You idiot, she hissed. Arthur felt something crack inside him. Elena, how could you be so sloppy? She screamed, kicking one of the orange Hermes bags. You promised me security. You promised me a legacy. And now you tell me we're homeless. We're not homeless, Arthur said, his voice quiet, masking the pain. I have a place, an old apartment in the Bronx. From before I made it. I kept the lease under a shell company. It's safe. We can go there. The Bronx. She said the word like it was a contagious disease. It's temporary, until I clear my name. I need you, Elena. I can't do this alone. She looked at him with cold calculation. She was doing the math. Leaving now meant leaving with nothing. Staying meant there was a chance, however slim, that he had hidden assets. Fine, she spat. But you better fix this, Arthur. Fast. The apartment was a tomb for their marriage. Located in a crumbling brick building on the edge of the city, it was a 400-square-foot box that smelled of mildew, boiled cabbage, and years of neglect. The wallpaper was peeling in long, yellow strips like dead skin. The radiator clanked and hissed like a dying animal. Arthur carried their 2 duffel bags up the 4 flights of stairs. Elena refused to carry anything. She stood in the center of the room, still wearing her designer coat, refusing to touch anything. This is where you expect me to sleep? She asked, pointing at the lumpy mattress on the floor. It's what we have, Arthur said. He went to the small kitchenette and turned on the tap. Brown water sputtered out before running clear. The first week was a brutal study in human psychology. Arthur committed to the role completely. He woke up at 5 a.m. every morning, put on a worn-out suit he had bought at a thrift store, and went out to look for work. In reality, Arthur went to a secure, underground office he maintained in Midtown. There, he monitored his empire, which was actually thriving. He watched the news reports about his collapse, stories he had planted. He ate gourmet lunches in solitude, feeling the guilt gnaw at his stomach. Then, at 6 p.m., he would splash water on his face, mess up his hair, and return to the Bronx, acting exhausted and defeated. Any luck? He would ask, walking through the door. Elena never looked up from her phone. She spent her days sitting by the window, scrolling through Instagram, looking at the lives of the friends who had abandoned them. You smell like the subway, she would say. I had an interview at a logistics company, Arthur lied. Warehouse manager. It pays $18 an hour. $18? Elena laughed darkly. That doesn't even cover my face cream, Arthur. It puts food on the table, Elena. What have you done today? Have you looked for anything? A receptionist job? Anything? She turned on him, her eyes flashing. Me? Work? I am Elena Sterling. I do not scan groceries. I do not answer phones. You broke this life, Arthur. You fix it. The abuse escalated. It wasn't physical. It was deeply, surgically emotional. She knew exactly where to cut. She mocked his failures. She compared him to her father, a successful oil tycoon. She withheld affection, sleeping on the far edge of the mattress, creating a wall of ice between them. But Arthur held on. He needed to see how deep the rot went. He needed to see if there was any bottom to her shallowness. 3 weeks into the poverty, the doorbell rang. Arthur was frying canned spam on a hot plate, a meal he actually enjoyed for its simplicity, though Elena refused to eat it. He wiped his hands on a rag and opened the door. Standing in the hallway was Julian Thorne. Julian was Arthur's nemesis, a hedge fund shark with no morals and a smile that cost $20,000 in veneers. He was wearing a bespoke navy suit, a cashmere coat draped over his shoulders. Arthur, Julian smirked, looking him up and down. My God, the rumors were true. You look rustic. Arthur blocked the doorway. What do you want, Julian? I invited him. Elena's voice came from behind. Arthur turned. Elena was standing there. She had done her hair. She was wearing the only cocktail dress she had managed to save. She looked radiant and completely out of place in the grime of the apartment. "You invited him?" Arthur asked, stunned. "Julian is a friend, Arthur," Elena said, pushing past him to greet the billionaire. She kissed Julian on the cheek, a intimate kiss. "Come in, Julian. Sorry about the smell." Arthur was cooking slop. Julian stepped into the tiny room, his eyes scanning the peeling paint with amusement. He sat on the single rickety chair, treating it like a throne. "Elena tells me you're struggling, old sport," Julian said, pulling a bottle of wine from his coat. "Chateau Margaux, 1995. I thought you might miss the taste of civilization." Arthur stood in the corner, his fists clenched at his sides. He could buy Julian's entire firm 3 times over. He could snap his fingers and have this man removed. But he did nothing. He had to play the part. "We're fine," Arthur gritted out. "Are we?" Elena snapped. "Look at us, Arthur. We are living in squalor. Julian is trying to help." "Actually," Julian said, swirling the wine in a plastic cup Elena had found, "I do have a proposition. My driver recently quit. Hard to find good help these days. Someone discreet. Someone who knows the city." He looked at Arthur. The insult hung in the air like toxic gas. "You want me to drive for you?" Arthur said, his voice deadly calm. "It pays well," Julian shrugged. 50 grand a year, plus tips. You used to like driving fast cars, didn't you, Arthur? Now you can drive mine." Arthur looked at his wife. He waited for her to explode, to throw Julian out, to say, "My husband is a king, even without a crown." Elena looked at Arthur. Her eyes were cold, dead weights. "Take it, Arthur," she said. Arthur felt the room spin. "What? Take the job," she demanded. "We need the rent money. And frankly, it's the best offer you're going to get. Swallow your pride. It's the only thing you have left, and it's worthless." Julian laughed. "She's a pragmatic woman, Arthur. I've always admired that about her." Arthur looked down at the floor. He visualized his bank accounts. He visualized the power he held. And then he looked at the woman he had married. The love didn't just die in that moment. It was murdered. "I'll think about it," Arthur whispered. "Good man," Julian said, standing up. He placed a hand on Elena's waist. Too low, too familiar. "I'll see you around, Elena. Call me." The final nail in the coffin came 4 days later. Arthur came home early. The job hunt was exhausting him. Not physically, but spiritually. He walked up the stairs quietly, his sneakers making no sound on the worn linoleum. As he reached the door, he heard her voice. She was laughing. It was a sound he hadn't heard in months. A genuine, throaty laugh. He pressed his ear to the thin wood of the door. "Oh, stop it, Julian," she was saying. "He's pathetic. You should see him in the mornings. He puts on this cheap suit and looks like a beaten dog. It makes me sick." Arthur froze. "No, not yet," she continued. "I can't leave yet. I found his old ledger. I think he stashed some cash in a Cayman account before the freeze. He's too smart not to have a backup. I'm gonna find the access codes. Once I have that money, I'm yours." Pause. "I know, baby. I can't wait to be back in a real bed. A real life. Just give me a few more days to break him completely. He'll tell me where the money is. He's desperate for my approval." Arthur stepped back from the door. He felt like he had been shot in the chest. It wasn't just greed. It was malice. She was actively hunting for his hidden money, planning to rob him and then run into the arms of his enemy. He walked away from the door. He went up to the roof of the building. He stood there, looking out at the gray skyline of the Bronx. And then Arthur Sterling cried. He didn't cry for the money. He didn't cry for the betrayal. He cried for the 5 years he had wasted. He cried for the memories that were now tainted. The vacations, the quiet mornings, the vows. It was all a lie. She was a master illusionist, and he had been the willing audience. He let the tears fall for exactly 10 minutes. He checked his watch. When the 10 minutes were up, he wiped his face. The sadness evaporated, replaced by a cold, hard resolve. The Arthur who loved Elena died on that roof. The Arthur who built an empire returned. He pulled out his phone. He dialed his head of security. "Prepare the Gulf Stream," he said, "and bring the car. The big one." When Arthur walked into the apartment an hour later, he was beaming. Elena was on the couch, quickly hiding her phone. "You're late," she muttered. "I have news," Arthur said, his voice vibrating with fake excitement. "Incredible news." Elena looked up, suspicious. "What? Did you find $1 on the street?" "Better," Arthur said. He went to her and grabbed her hands. She flinched. "I met with my old lawyer. There was a loophole, Elena, a mistake in the filing. They unfreezed one of the offshore accounts. Just one." Elena's eyes went wide. The pupils dilated. It was a physiological response to the smell of money. "How much?" she whispered. $5 million, Arthur lied. "And it's liquid. We can access it right now." She jumped up. The fatigue, the anger, the disgust. It all vanished instantly. She threw her arms around him. "Arthur, oh my God. I knew it. I knew you'd fix it. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar." "We have to celebrate," Arthur said. "Get dressed. Wear the red dress. The one you wore on our first date." Yes, of course." She scrambled to the closet, tearing through the mess to find the dress. "Where are we going? Per se? Le Bernardin." "Somewhere better," Arthur said. "Somewhere private." 20 minutes later, they walked down the graffiti-covered stairs. Elena was wearing the red dress, her heels clicking on the dirty pavement. She looked like a phoenix rising from the ashes, fueled by greed. She expected a taxi, maybe an Uber Black. Instead, a phantom Rolls-Royce, extended wheelbase, midnight blue, glided to the curb. The Spirit of Ecstasy hood ornament shone under the streetlights. The driver, a massive man named Graves, stepped out and opened the door. "Good evening, Mr. Sterling," Graves said. Elena gasped. She touched the leather of the seats as if checking if it was real. "Arthur, you got the car back?" "I got everything back," Arthur said, ushering her inside. The drive to the private airfield was silent, but the air was electric. Elena was buzzing. She was texting on her phone. Probably Julian, telling him the plan had changed, that the cash cow was producing milk again. Arthur stared out the window. He was memorizing the city. He was saying goodbye to the man he used to be. They arrived at the tarmac. The Gulfstream G650 was waiting, its engines humming a low, powerful growl. The stairs were down. The cabin lights were warm and inviting. They stepped out of the car. The wind whipped Elena's hair, but she didn't care. She was looking at the jet like a starving wolf looks at a lamb. "We're going to Paris?" she asked, shouting over the engines. Arthur stopped at the bottom of the stairs. He turned to face her. "No," Arthur said. "I'm going to Paris." Elena frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" "We're going." Arthur reached into his jacket pocket. He pulled out a thick manila envelope. "I know about Julian," Arthur said. The color drained from Elena's face so fast she looked like a corpse. "What?" "I heard the phone call, Elena. I know about the stash you were looking for. I know you were planning to leave me the moment you got paid." "Arthur, no." She reached for his arm, her eyes wide with panic. "You misunderstood. I was just venting. I was stressed. I love you." Arthur stepped back, out of her reach. "I never lost the money, Elena," he said. The words hit her like physical blows. "What?" she whispered. "The bankruptcy, the fraud, the frozen assets. It was all a lie," Arthur said, his voice devoid of emotion. "I still have every penny. In fact, while we were living in that hellhole, my portfolio went up 12%. I could have bought us a new penthouse every single day." Elena's mouth fell open. The realization washed over her. The horror of what she had thrown away. You tested me?" she stammered. "And you failed," Arthur said. "You didn't just fail, Elena. You showed me that you are a monster. You treated me like garbage the moment I couldn't buy you things. You tried to sell me out to my enemy. Arthur, please. She fell to her knees on the tarmac, tears streaming down her face. Real tears this time. Tears of loss. I'm sorry. I was scared. I'm just a girl from a small town. I was terrified of being poor again. Please, Arthur. I love you. Give me another chance. Arthur looked down at her. He saw the beautiful woman he had married. He remembered the good times. But then he remembered the way she looked at him in the apartment. He remembered the apartment smelling of cabbage and her laughter on the phone with Julian. He tossed the envelope onto the ground in front of her. Those are divorce papers, Arthur said, and a settlement check for $20,000. That's for your time. $20,000? She screamed, looking at the check. I'm your wife. I deserve half. Read the prenup, Arthur said coldly. The one you signed without reading because you were too busy looking at the ring. It has a fidelity clause. You cheated, Elena, emotionally and conspiratorially. You get nothing. Arthur turned and walked up the stairs of the jet. Arthur, don't you dare walk away from me, she screamed, her voice cracking. You'll die alone. You hear me? You'll die alone with your money. Arthur stopped at the top of the stairs. He looked back one last time. Better to be alone in a palace, he said, than to be married to a parasite. He stepped inside. The heavy door hissed shut, sealing him in the world of luxury, sealing her out in the cold, exhaust-filled air of the tarmac. As the jet taxied down the runway, Arthur poured himself a glass of whiskey. He watched the lights of New York fade away beneath him. He took a sip. It burned, but it was a clean burn. He was right. The cost of the test had been high. It had cost him his marriage. It had cost him his heart. But as he looked at the empty seat across from him, he realized something profound. Loyalty is a rare value. It is the only currency that cannot be printed, faked, or stolen. You have to earn it. And if you can't find it, you are better off holding on to your own soul. Arthur Sterling was alone. But for the first time in 5 years, he was free. And that is the heavy price of the truth. Arthur Sterling lost a wife, but he saved his future. Now, I have a difficult question for you, and I want you to be honest. If you were in Arthur's position, if you had the billions and the power, would you have tested your partner like he did? Or is a test like that a betrayal in itself? Did Elena deserve a second chance? Or did she get exactly what was coming to her? Let me know your choice in the comments below. I read every single one. And please, tell me which country you are watching from. It is amazing to see our stories reaching all corners of the world. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have more stories of wealth, power, and the dark side of human nature coming soon. This is Rare Value Stories. See you in the next one.